UK. I have friends in Africa. I have friends
Actually,
now in
UK time zone is the best for me. UK is the
Jamaica.
easiest for me.
Yeah,
A small difference, 3 hours difference. That's it. Actually,
right.
UK only has one time zone, not multiple. Only one.
Because UK is like this, and the United States is
Yeah,
like this.
ah, I understand that. That's true. Actually, we are here for a book as well, so we can focus a bit on that as well.
Oh
We
my
forgot, I
God.
guess.
Do we have a book today?
Actually, na, you named the club right. A friend's club that happens to read.
I like that. It's a friends club that we happen to read.
That happens to read.
Yeah.
Actually, and the story was also now picking up pace.
Yes.
Actually, Connie left when the boy met the old man for the first time, and the man was starting to tell him stories. That's where Connie left. So Connie, just to give you a bit of a revision, what happened is when the boy met the old man, the king, and actually she knows. She said that the old man's name was in the Bible as well. That the name you were saying, right? That I can't read the name. That king's name. I'll share the book as well. She told me that the name is from Bible.
I believe it.
So now the man is telling the boy how he can find his treasure, where he should go, and he should not stop looking for the treasure. But for the guidance, for the direction the old man gave, he also asked for a few sheeps. So the boy gave him the sheeps and received the guidance to follow his purpose of finding the treasure and traveling to the Egypt to see the pyramids. So we'll continue the story and you'll get the gist of it. So, Ray, we would love to have a beautiful voice to start the reading.
Oh, lovely.
Let's begin from this page.
All right.
This is where we left.
Um, uh, at the highest, is that what it is?
Yes. Well, there is
Okay.
only one piece of advice I can give you.
What?
The line.
Oh, oh, the very top of the page, top of the page.
Yes. Let me
Awesome.
zoom for you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Well, there is only one piece of advice I can give you, said the wisest of the wise men. The secret of happiness is to see all the marvels of the world and never to forget the drops of oil on the spoon. Oh, that's right. He was doing the spoon task with the oil.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. The shepherd said nothing. He had understood the story the old king had told him. A shepherd, sorry, I'm going to set my laptop down. A shepherd, a shepherd may like to travel, but he should never forget about his sheep. The old man looked at the boy and, with his hands held together, made several strange gestures over the boy's head. Then, taking his sheep, he walked away. At the highest point in Tarifa, there is an old fort built by the Moors. From atop its walls, one can catch a glimpse of Africa. Yeah, Melchizedek.
That's the name Connie was
Oh,
saying about. It,
Connie,
the
would
name
you
is
pronounce
from
that
the
for us?
Bible.
Melchiz Melchizedek.
Let's call it cheese.
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek. Nice, thank you. Melchizedek. I'm going to use that in a sentence today. I'm going to work that word into a sentence. So from atop its walls, one can catch a glimpse of Africa. Melchizedek, the king of Salem. Oh, there was a stop there. Hold on. Catch a glimpse of Africa. See, I can say this word so many times now. Melchizedek, the king of Salem, sat on the wall at the fort, the wall of the fort that afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sat on the wall of the fort that afternoon and felt the lavender blowing in his face.
Lavender.
Yeah, the wind.
The winds. They call it the lavender.
The Levanter.
Yeah,
Blowing.
they say the winds that are from the um, Egypt side, they call it the Laventers coming from the Egypt side, the
Nice.
pyramids.
Interesting. He felt those wicked winds blowing in his face. The sheep fidgeted nearby, uneasy with their new owner and excited by so much change. All they wanted was food and water. Oh, Melchizedek. Whoa, wow, wow. The cheese man wanted a small ship. Cuckoo, cuckoo. What? What? My God. Amen. Okay, so the guy watched a small ship that was
Guy.
plowing its way out of the port. He would never again see the boy, just as he had never seen Abraham again after having
Gosh.
charged him his 1/10 fee. That was his work. The gods should not have desires. I'm having trouble reading today. The gods should not have desires because they don't have personal legends. But the king of Salem hoped desperately that the boy would be successful. It's too bad that he's quickly going to forget my name. No kidding. Thank God. I should have repeated it for him at least once, perhaps twice. Then, when he spoke about me, he would say that I am
The
Mejizo
guy.
the king of Salem. He looked to the skies, feeling a bit abashed, and said, I know it's the vanity of vanities, as you said, my lord, but an old king sometimes has to take some pride in himself. All right. How strange Africa is, thought the boy. He was sitting in a bar very much like the other bars. A child, excuse me. Okay, so this child was sitting in a bar very much like the other bars he had seen along the narrow streets of Tangier. I've been there. Some men were smoking from a gigantic pipe that they passed from one to another. In just a few hours, he had seen men walking hand in hand, women with their faces covered, and priests that climbed to the tops of towers enchanted, as everyone about him went to their knees and placed their foreheads on the ground. A practice of infidels, he said to himself. As a child in church, he had always looked at the image of Saint Santiago Matamoros on his white horse, his sword unsheathed, and figures such as these kneeling at his feet. The boy felt ill and terribly alone. The infidels had an evil look about them. Besides this, in the rush of his travels, he had forgotten a detail, just one detail, which could keep him from his treasure for a long time. Only Arabic was spoken in this country. The owner of the bar approached him, and the boy pointed to a drink that had been served at the next table. It turned out to be bitter tea. The boy preferred wine, but he didn't need to worry about that right now. He didn't need to worry
What
about
he
that right. Yeah, he didn't need to worry about that right. What he had to be concerned about was his treasure. And how? Are you talking to me?
No, no, no.
Okay. What he had to be worried about right now was his treasure and how he was going to go about getting it. The sale of his sheep had left him with enough money in his pouch, and the boy knew that in money there was magic. Whoever has money is never really alone. Before long, maybe in just a few days, he would be at the pyramids. An old man with a breastplate of gold wouldn't have lied just to acquire 6 sheep. The old man had spoken about signs and omens, and as the boy was crossing the strait, he had thought about omens. Yes, the old man had known what he was talking about. During the time the boy had spent in the fields of Andalusia, he had become used to learning which path he should take by observing the ground and the sky. He had discovered that the presence of a certain bird meant that a snake was nearby, and that a certain shrub was a sign that there was water in the area. The sheep had taught him that. If God leads the sheep so well, he will lead a man. He will also lead a man, he thought, and that made him feel better. The tea seemed less bitter. Who are you? He heard a voice ask him in Spanish. The boy was relieved. He was thinking about omens and someone had appeared. How come you speak Spanish? He asked. The new arrival was a young man in Western dress, but the color of his skin suggested he was from this city. He was about the same age and height as the boy. Almost everyone here speaks Spanish. We're only 2 hours from Spain.
Yes, continue.
Oh, thank you. Sit down and let me treat you to something, said the boy, and ask for a glass of wine for me. I hate this tea. There is there is no wine in this country, the young man said. The religion here forbids it. The boy
Ouch.
told him then that he needed to go to the pyramids. He almost began to tell about his treasure, but decided not to do so. If he did, it was possible that the Arab would want a part of his payment, part of it as payment for taking him. He remembered what the old man had said about offering something you didn't even have yet.
Nonsense.
I'd like you to take me there if you can. I can pay you to serve as my guide. Do you have any idea how to get there? The newcomer asked. The boy noticed that the owner of the bar stood nearby, listening attentively to their conversation. He felt uneasy at the man's presence, but he had found a guide and didn't want to miss out on the opportunity. You have to cross the entire Sahara Desert, said the young man. And to do that, you need money. I need to know whether you have enough. The boy thought it a strange question, but he trusted in the old man. He trusted in the old man who had said that when you really want something, the universe always conspires in your favor. This is true. He took his money from his pouch and showed it to the young man. The owner of the bar came over and looked as well. The two men exchanged some words in Arabic, and the bar owner seemed irritated. Let's get out of here, said the new arrival. He wants us to leave. The boy was relieved. He got up to pay the bill, but the owner grabbed him and began to speak to him in an angry stream of words. The boy was strong and wanted to retaliate, but he was in a foreign country. His new friend pushed the owner aside, pulled the boy outside with him. You wanted your money, he said. Tangier is not like the rest of Africa. This is a port, and every port has thieves. The boy trusted his new friend. He had helped him out in a dangerous situation. He took out his money and counted it. We could get to the pyramids by tomorrow, said the other, taking the money, but I have to buy 2 camels. They walked together through the narrow streets of Tangier. Everywhere there were stalls with items for sale. They reached the center of a large plaza where the market was held. There were thousands of people there, arguing, selling, and buying vegetables for sale amongst daggers and carpets displayed
Alongside.
alongside tobacco. But the boy never took his eye off his new friend. After all, he had all his money. Ooh, no bueno. He thought about asking him to give it back, but decided that would be unfriendly. He knew nothing about the customs of the strange land he was in. I'll just watch him, he said to himself. He knew he was stronger than his friend. Suddenly, there, in the midst of all that confusion, he saw the most beautiful sword he had ever seen. The scabbard. Yeah. The scabbard. Why can't they just say sword? The scabbard was embossed in silver. The handle was black and encrusted with precious stones. The boy promised himself that when he returned from Egypt, he would buy that sword. Ask the owner of that stall how much the sword costs, he said to his friend. Then he realized that he had been distracted. For a few moments looking at the sword. His heart squeezed as if his chest had suddenly compressed it. He was afraid to look around because he knew what he would find. He continued to look at the beautiful sword for a bit longer until he summoned the courage to turn around. All around him was the market, with people coming and going, shouting and buying, the aroma of strange foods, but nowhere could he find his new companion. The boy wanted to believe that his friend had simply become separated from him by accident. He decided to stay right there and await his return. As he waited, a priest climbed to the top of a nearby tower and began his chant. Everyone in the market fell to their knees, touched their foreheads to the ground, and took up the chant. Then, like a colony of worker ants, They dismantled their stalls and left. The sun began its departure as well. The boy watched it through its trajectory for some time, until it was hidden behind the white houses surrounding the plaza. He recalled that when the sun had risen that morning, he was in another continent, still a shepherd with 60 sheep and looking forward to meeting with his girl. That morning, he had known everything that was going to happen to him as he walked through the familiar fields. But now, as the sun began to set, he was in a different country, a stranger in a strange land, where he couldn't even speak the language. He was no longer a shepherd, and he had nothing, not even the money to return and start everything over. All this happened between sunrise and sunset, the boy thought. He was feeling very sorry for himself and lamenting the fact that his life could have changed so suddenly and so drastically. He was so ashamed. He was so ashamed that he wanted to cry. He had never even wept in front of his own sheep, but the marketplace was empty and he was far from home. So he wept. He wept because God was unfair, and because this was the way God repaid those who he wept because God was unfair, and because this was the way God repaid those who believed in their dreams. When I had my sheep, I was happy, and I made those around me happy. People saw me coming and welcomed me, he thought. But now I'm sad and alone. I'm going to become bitter and distrustful of people because one person betrayed me. I'm going to hate those who have found their treasure because I have never found mine. And I'm going to hold on to what little I have because I'm too insignificant to conquer the world. He opened his pouch to see what was left of his possessions. Maybe there was a bit left of the sandwich he had eaten on the ship. But all he found was the heavy book, his jacket, and 2 stones the old man had given him. As he looked at the stones, he felt relieved for some reason. He had exchanged 6 sheep for 2 precious stones that had been taken from his gold breastplate. He could sell the stones and buy a return ticket. But this time I'll be smarter, the boy thought, removing them from the pouch so he could put them in his pocket. This was a port town, and the only truthful thing his friend had told him was that the port towns are full of
thieves.
full of thieves. Now he understood why the owner of the bar had been so upset. He was trying to tell him not to trust that man. I'm like everyone else. I see the world in terms of what I would like to see happen, not what actually does.
This is a very powerful line.
Yeah, I'm going to read it again. I'm like everyone else. I see the world in terms of what I would like to see happen, not what actually happens.
Trust. It's like you want to
Rose-colored glasses.
yes. It's like you want to ignore the truth, but you can't.
Yeah.
Perfect. Karina, would you like to continue reading?
Sure.
Go on.
Can you tell me where we stopped?
Yep. The one the where I that purple na? Highlight after that.
He ran his fingers slowly over the stones, sensing their temperature and feeling their surfaces. They were his treasure. Just handling them made him feel better. They reminded him of the old man. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. He said that. The boy was trying to understand the truth of what the old man had said. There he was in the empty marketplace, without a cent to his name, and with not a sheep to guard through the night. But the stones were proof that he had met with a king who knew of the boy's past. They called Urim and Thummim, and they can help you to read the omens. The boy put the stones back in the pouch and decided to do an experiment. The old man had said to ask very clear questions and to do that, the boy had to know what he wanted. So he asked if the old man's blessing was still with him. He took out one of the stones. It was yes. Am I going to find my treasure? He asked. He stuck his hand into the pouch and felt around for one of the stones. As he did so, both of them pushed through a hole in the pouch and fell to the ground. The boy had never even noticed that there was a hole in his pouch. He knelt down to find Urim and Thummim and put them back in the pouch. But as he saw them lying there on the ground, another phrase came to his mind. Learn to recognize omens and follow them, the old king had said. An omen. The boy smiled to himself. He picked up the 2 stones and put them back in his pouch. He didn't consider mending the hole. The stones could fall through any time they wanted. He had learned that there were certain things one shouldn't ask about, so as not to flee from one's own personal legend. I promised that I would make my own decisions, he said to himself. But the stones had told him that the old man was still with him, and that made him feel more confident. He looked around at the empty plaza again, feeling less desperate than before. This wasn't a strange place, it was a new one. After all, what he had always wanted was just that, to know new places. Even if he never got to the pyramids, he had already traveled farther than any shepherd he knew. Oh, if they only knew how different things are, just 2 hours by ship from where they are, he thought. Although his new world at the moment was just an empty... I can't see it anymore.
Sorry.
Although his new world at the moment was just an empty marketplace, he had already seen it when... just a second. When it was teeming with life, and he would never forget it.
He remembered the sword and taken him there.
He remembered this word. It hurt him a bit to think about it, but he had never seen one like it before. As he mused about these things, he realized that he had to choose between thinking of himself as the poor victim of a thief and as an adventurer and guest of his treasure. I'm an adventurer looking for treasure, he said to himself. He was shaken into wakefulness by someone. He had fallen asleep in the middle of the marketplace, and life in the plaza was about to resume. Looking around, he sought his sheep and then realized that he was in a new world. But instead of being saddened, he was happy. He no longer had to seek out food and water from the sheep. He could go in search of his treasure instead. He had not a cent in his pocket, but he had faith. He had decided the night before that he would be as much as an adventurer as the ones he had admired in books. He walked slowly through the market. The merchants were assembling their stalls, and the boy helped a candy seller to do this. The candy seller had a smile on his face. He was happy, aware of what his life was about, and ready to begin a day's work. His smile reminded the boy of the old man, the mysterious old king he had met. This candy merchant isn't making candy so that later he can travel or marry a shopkeeper's daughter. He is doing it because it's what he wants to do, thought the boy. he realized that he could do the same thing the old man had done. Sense whether a person was near or far from his personal legend, just by looking at them. It's easy, and yet I've never done it before, he thought. When the stall was assembled, the candy seller offered the boy the first sweet he had made for the day. The boy thanked him, ate it, and went on his way. When he had gone only a short distance, he realized that while they were erecting the stall, one of them had spoken Arabic and the other Spanish, and they had understood each other perfectly well. And there must be a language that doesn't depend on words, the boy thought. I've already had that experience with my sheep, and now it's happening with people.
Please, 1 second, 1 second. Sorry to pause you. Actually, Faith has just joined in. Just to give you a heads up, I think you also left the same way with Connie when the boy met the king, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So now what happened after that is the king was showing him the way to the boy that he should follow his personal legend, that he loves to travel and he loves to, and he wants to marry that girl he wants to meet. So he gave him two stones, a black stone and a white stone. White stone was the yes, and black stone was for no. And he told him that whenever he wanted to seek God's wish, guidance, he can use the stones and they will help him out. And he took his sheeps and then he left off. Now the boy was all alone in the whole marketplace. He was a bit sad, he was a bit upset, but he was also not losing the hope that he should just drop his dreams to travel. He he met a few people after the king. One was thief, one was a good man who helped him out to be away from the thieves. So now, as of this moment, he's alone in the market. He's trying to motivate himself, pick himself up again, and then continue his journey. All right.
Okay.
Awesome. You will then now you will or easily understand the we will continue now. He was
Okay.
learning a lot of new things. Some of them were things that he had already experienced and weren't really new, but that he had never perceived before. And he hadn't perceived them because he had become accustomed to them. He realized, if I can learn to understand this language without words, I can learn to understand the world. Relaxed and unhurried, he resolved that he would walk through the narrow streets of Tangaree. Only in that way would he be able to read the omens. Actually, he's trying to read the omens to get the direction to go on with his goal of traveling. He knew it would require a lot of patience, but shepherds know all about patience. Once again, he saw that in that strange land, he was applying the same lesson he had learned with the sheep. All things are one, the old man had said. The crystal merchant awoke the day and felt the same anxiety they had that he felt every morning. He had been in the same place for 30 years, a shop at the top of a hilly street where few customers passed. Now it was too late to change anything. The only thing he had ever learned to do was to buy and sell crystal glassware. There had been a time when many people knew of his shop: Arab merchants, French and English geologists, German soldiers who were always well heeled. In those days, it had been wonderful to be selling crystals, and he had thought how he would become rich and have beautiful women at his side as he grew older. But as time passed, Tangerine has changed. The nearby city of Ceuta had grown faster than Tangerine, and the business had fallen off. Neighbors moved away, and there remained only a few small shops on the hill. And no one was going to climb a hill just to browse through a few small shops. But the crystal merchant had no choice. He had lived 30 years of his life buying and selling crystal pieces, and now it was too late to do anything else. He spent the entire morning observing the infrequent comings and goings in the street. He had done this for years and knew the schedule of everyone who passed. But just before the lunchtime, a boy stopped in the front of the shop. He was dressed normally, but the practiced eyes of the crystal merchant could see that the boy had no money to spend. Nevertheless, the merchant decided to delay his lunch for a few minutes until the boy moved on. A card hanging in the doorway announced that several languages were spoken in the shop. The boy saw a man appear behind the counter. I can clean up those glasses in the window if you want, said the boy. The way they look now, nobody's going to want to buy them. The man looked at him without responding. In exchange, you could give me something to eat. The man still said nothing, and the boy sensed that he was going to have to make a decision. In his pouch, he had his jacket. He certainly was going to need it in the desert. Taking the jacket out, he began to clean the glasses. In half an hour, he had cleaned all the glasses in the window. And as he was doing so, two customers had entered the shop and bought some crystal. When he had completed the cleaning, he asked the man for something to eat. Let's go and have some lunch, said the crystal merchant. He put a sign on the door, and then they went to the small cafe nearby. He sat down only at the only table in the place. The crystal merchant laughed. You didn't have to do any cleaning, he said. The Korean requires me to feed, sorry, the uh, book, Quran, requires me to feed a hungry person. Well then, why did you let me do it? The boy asked. Because the crystals was dirty, and both you and I needed to cleanse our minds of negative thoughts. When they had eaten, the merchant turned to the boy and said, I'd like you to work in my shop. Two customers came in today while you were working, and that's a good omen. People talk a lot about omens, thought the shepherd, but they really don't know what they are saying. Just as I hadn't realized that for so many years I had been speaking a language without words to my sheep. Do you want to go to work for me? The merchant asked. I can work for the rest of the day, the boy answered. I'll work all night until dawn and I'll clean every piece of crystal in your shop. In return, I need money to get to Egypt tomorrow. The merchant laughed. Even if you cleaned my crystals for an entire year, even if you earned a good commission selling every piece, you would still have to borrow money to get to Egypt. There are thousands of kilometers of desert between here and there. There was a moment of silence so profound that it seemed the city was asleep. No sounds from the bazaars, no arguments among the merchants, no men climbing to the towers to chant. No hope, no adventure, no old kings or personal legends, no treasure, and no pyramids. It was as if the world had fallen silent because the boy's soul had. He sat there, staring blankly through the door of the cafe, wishing that he had died and that everything would end forever at that moment. The merchant looked anxiously at the boy. All the joy he had seen that morning had suddenly disappeared. I can give you the money you need to get back to your country, my son, said the crystal merchant. The boy said nothing. He got up, adjusted his clothing, and picked up his pouch. I'll work for you, he said. And again, after a long silence, he added, I need money to buy some sheep. Oh, the part two. So we'll begin the part two next meeting. For now, we'll complete here. That's a good way to wrap up for today as well. So let me stop the screen here. Ray, Karina,
Yes.
you can have your videos on now.
Aditya.
Welcome, Shruti.
Welcome, Shruti. Mine is on. Thank you very much.
You still can't see your face.
Why?
Good question, but I can't answer that. I don't know why.
Wow. Oh, you have to actually click that button, not just think
Oh.
about it. Not just think about it.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. And Mubarak. And you know what? Shruti's mic is also working today. We
Yeah,
don't
now
have to
I can
think
speak.
about it.
That's brilliant.
See, thinking doesn't do the job. You have to take the action.
Action. Just thinking about it. No. I pushed my mute button to unmute me so I can talk, because That's one of my favorite things to do.
So, how's the story? Everyone liking?
Awesome.
Awesome. Karina, do you like it? What? You can off your mic. I mean, you can on your mic.
She hates it. She hates the story. I'm going to be answering all her questions for her. She hates it. It's dreadful. Here she is. Sorry.
It's easier to give signs than to speak.
I'm an interpreter, I know.
I mean, the story is actually really good. I mean, I have read the book once, but if I'm reading again, the story is actually shaping up really nice. Now the boy is working at the merchant's shop. For now, he actually has sold his sheep already to the old king, so he doesn't have much money left now. So just to get through the days and not to let his hope die of living his legend, he's working at the shop, cleaning the crystals, and just saving some money. I love when the stories like this, they just keep you, stitched to the story and also then teach you lessons side by side.
Yeah.
I mean, they help us also remember the lessons more easily than just a book where there are only lessons.
Yeah.
I know Faith joined a bit today late, but I hope you got the story. You understood.
Yes, the little part that I managed to hear, I understood. Because I've read the book before already,
Okay.
but it's
Awesome. That's
refreshing
good.
to read it again.
Absolutely. I mean, books you can read them 10 times and then you'll still find something new to learn.
Yes.
So let's begin with the lessons. Karina, your turn. Your first lesson.
Actually, I don't have a lesson, but more like a memory. Because the moment when the boy asked the stones about yes or no, if the blessings of the old man are still with him, that reminded me also something about in my life. When I asked like God, hey, are you still here? Are your blessings still with me in certain difficult situations? And so this kind of really touched me, that part when he asked the stones.
I believe that's a really good lesson out of your memory. And that also just gives us our first lesson actually as well. And that you can link it with what the king said. Ask clear questions. Ask your questions very clearly and precisely. And that's really, really important. And I think that's where we fail the most. We don't ask questions, we complain a lot. I don't have money, I don't have uh, success, I'm not good at health, or whatever the complaints are. But we never say, I mean, we never convert those stress points into a proper statement, a question that I want to succeed. What should I learn today? I want to increase my income. What kind of skill should I work on today? I want to heal my bond with this person. So, what kind of value I should inculcate? So, whenever, and I believe that's actually even I follow that lesson in my own life. Whenever I have an emotion that's giving me stress, trouble, I convert that emotion into a proper question. And then my mind says, okay, fine. Now we have a question. Let's work on the solution. Absolutely, Connie. Thank you for the lesson. Now, Connie has given us the second lesson of the day as well. She said in the chat, I know she can't speak today because of her throat problem. No problem. She said that she loved when the boy kept referring to the lessons he learned while he was with the sheeps. And that's true. That just shows that whatever we do in life, we always get to learn something. I mean, I would love to quote an athlete, Kobe Bryant, if you all have heard the name. He was a basketball player. He has passed away now.
What team was he on?
Sorry, Kobe Bryant.
What team? Yeah, what team was he on?
I'm really sorry, no idea. but I just know the sport he played, basketball.
I think he's with the Portland Trailblazers.
Okay.
I think, right?
Actually, I don't know about the sport at
Kobe
all.
Bryant? Maybe not. Anyway, sorry.
But actually, he taught many lessons that he followed in his own span of career. He said that for me, my whole world is a library.
Wow.
So I learn lessons from everything I observe around me. I
Yeah.
extract lessons, I extract teachings. Like that boy did. He extracted teachings while he was with sheep. For example, he observed that he was not using any language with the sheep, yet the sheep were able to understand his language. And that's what the book calls the language of the soul.
Oh.
Because the words we use, and there again we can quote one more big time author, Bob Proctor. Even Bob Proctor said that not enough words are invented on earth to express every emotion. So I think there we can say that yes, the language of the soul is the language that we all understand, no matter what the culture or the religion is. So the second lesson of the day is lessons from every aspect of life. And the third, we can add actually a bonus on today as well, language of the soul. A language where we don't need practical words, but we still understand what's happening. And why has Rail left? I think she might be having some signal issues. Let's discuss the. She's back. Awesome. Ray, you will have to again click on the camera icon.
Wow.
I knew she forgot. I knew it.
Wow.
I
I was trying so hard just to think about it.
That's why I reminded you not to think about it.
Don't think about it. Just do it.
Just do it.
That is the same from Nike, which happens to
Nike.
be headquarters is located here in Oregon. Just do it. And I thought Kobe Bryant was with the Portland Trailblazers, but he's not. He's actually with the Lakers.
Okay, yeah, Lakers. Yes,
Yeah.
Lakers.
Okay.
Even I think Michael Jordan is also from the Lakers.
Michael Jordan?
I think
Look.
he's also the same player, na? Basketball player.
He's basketball, yeah.
Yes, I think from the same team. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Neil O'Shaq. I mean, Shaq O'Neal, sorry.
Yeah.
I've heard a few names.
Hold on. Let me look. Talk amongst yourselves.
Faith, can you give us a lesson? Faith, can you hear me?
Oh, hi, yes. A lesson. Because I arrived late, I did not pick much, but I think it's what we spoke of from the last session that I attended. When the store owner is telling the young boy that he's going to need more money to be able to travel to Egypt, I still think that they are more focused on persistence. They keep on reiterating and sharing more things that speaks about persistence, not dismissing what you want because you don't have enough resources as yet. And I think this is what most of us sometimes we tend to do. We want something, but we are sometimes limited by the things that the resources that we have or the shortage of resources. Then we tend to move to something else. There is nowhere where they actually highlighted that the young boy is saying he's continuing, but I get a feel that even when he's been told that he will need more money or continue to raise more money, even when he's working at the store, to be able to travel to Egypt, I'm under the impression that he will persist in what he wants to do, which is traveling to Egypt. So yeah.
Actually, you picked up the perfect lesson as well, because at the end of the our reading only, the boy told the same thing, that even if everything seems to go against him, the one thing he should not do is give up on his personal legend. And that's basically what means is the same persistence.
Oh,
And true,
that's good.
persistence is actually what that means. When the whole world says to you, don't do it, you still keep doing it.
Yes. Yes.
I like that. He didn't give up on his faith.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. I think faith, not just in God, but also in himself, that he
Right.
can do it.
Yeah.
Now, Ray, we would love to
Yes,
have one from
Alicia.
you,
Excuse me, what?
one from you as well, a lesson
A
from
lesson
you.
from me? A lesson from me? Well, let me think. Ask, oh, we already established that. Ask clear questions. You already said that. Language of the soul. Hold on, hold on. Rose-colored glasses. Um, I'm like everyone else. I see the world of what I would like to see, not the reality in which we're living. So
Oh, yeah.
beware of thieves and rose-colored glasses.
I knew you would pick up that lesson because that just touched us at that moment.
Yeah,
We want to see the world. Sorry, we see the world we want to see, not the way it should be seen.
yes,
That means our perception sometimes may show us a false picture of what's happening, but we need to face the reality.
yeah,
Only then we can accept it, and only then we can work around it. So if we just give it a in a line, accept the reality and see it from the right perception, not the perception you are holding, but the perception you should hold. Accept the reality as it is. Simple. I think this lesson is also linked up to the book we read last week, who moved my cheese. That the two human beings were not ready to accept the reality that there is no cheese, but the mice did that very easily, and that too with a smile. They also
yeah,
did accept, but they took time. But the mice did the same thing at the first instant with a smile.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a perfect lesson to end as well. So now the 5 lessons. First was ask questions clearly. Convert your emotions into questions, and they will help you seek answers. Lesson number 2, lessons from every aspect of life. That was from Connie. That we can always learn everything from life. Our world around us is a library. Pick up everything you can. That way, you will only focus on something you can learn, and you will not focus on something negative or something limiting. Your focus point will naturally shift to a learning attitude. The third lesson was language of the soul, where you know that the words can't express your emotions, but you know what the other person is feeling or what the world is trying to say, what your environment is trying to say, actually. You can just feel it. You know what we call that? I got the feeling going. I got the feeling.
I got the vibe.
I got the vibe. I I was waiting for her to join in. I knew she would.
Got the vibe. I got that feeling. Intuition. Everything like
Intuition.
that in
I
my
got the
soul.
I got the hunch.
Ooh, I
The
got a
faultless.
feeling.
I got a feeling. The fourth lesson was persistence. That was by Faith. Actually, you know what? Faith has a good name as well. I love it. Faith. Whenever you say, we just like it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, exactly.
You know, whenever you say her name, it just gives you a good feeling. Faith.
Like an affirmation. You can just keep on saying faith and progress.
See, we will like it, but you will get, frustrated. Stop repeating my name.
Yeah.
And then she'll say, put yourself on mute and then continue. The fifth lesson was from our laughter ambassador, Ray, accept the reality as it is. Don't look at it the way you want to look at it, but the way it should be looked at. Accept the reality as it is, and with my touch, with a smile.
And laughter in your heart.
And laughed. Oh, she always completes it perfectly. Accept the reality with a smile and laughter in your heart. Actually, Shruti, when we started the meeting, she came on time, first of all, Ray, today. She broke the record today. She was on time, 5 minutes earlier,
Oh.
rather.
Choir.
Ray? It's Ray, right?
She
It is the
joined in
same Ray I
before
know?
me.
It's the same Ray you know.
Oh my God! Before you.
Actually,
That
first
was
came
something,
Connie,
huh?
then Ray, then I. I
There
was
we
the
go.
third one to join.
That's superb.
And
Awesome.
you know what? For the first like 15 minutes, we were just chatting and laughing. And then we told you, oh, no, what? We have a book to read as well. And oh my God, we have a book.
But that was the main purpose, right?
Friends
Laughter.
Club that happens to read.
Exactly.
Right? That is it.
And you know what, Ray? You are also on YouTube now. Actually, I posted the last. Now I post the club's recording on YouTube to share with everyone. Don't worry, don't worry. The videos are still unlisted. I only share them with our clients and with everyone who is interested to read the book with us. They are not open to public yet.
Like as a video.
No, when you read the book and when you share the lessons here, this
Okay.
recording, this
Okay.
meet
But
recording.
not the video part, the video.
No.
Okay. Because Lord knows not everybody on the planet needs to see me without all of my makeup and my hair looking like a hot mess. For my debut, my gosh.
We'll just call it raw beauty at 60.
What? What?
Raw beauty. We'll just call it raw beauty.
Raw beauty? Okay.
Rare beauty.
Oh, thank you so much. I tell you.
So, thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming up. I'm really happy that all of us showed up today. And I hope every one of us enjoyed the lessons as well.
Yes.
And
Yes.
by the way, there is one more news as well. In the starting of the meeting, we finalized the time of the group as well now.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be constant every week. It's going to be every Monday and Wednesday, 11:30 EST, 11:30 a.m. EST. Every Monday and Wednesday. Simple. You
So
can convert it.
what is ESG again?
EST, not ESG.
You said G.
I said T.
No,
I
you
know
said G.
we all of us are from different zones. So
Yeah.
either you can drop your zone in the chat because actually I know as well the zones, or you can just convert it yourself, or I'll drop the message as well. What's the time as per your zone? We
I was
have
just asking
Austria
about the
here.
letter
We
C.
have Austria. We have South Africa. We have again
Represent. Drop
Wisconsin,
where you're
and then
from.
we have
Drop where
Oregon.
you're from. Hold on. Where are you from? Hold on. What? Why can't I type in the chat? What the what? Salem. Why can't I type in the chat? Never mind.
All right then.
All right.
Everyone, have a beautiful morning, evening,
What?
and night.
I have a question for you.
Yes,
I have a
please.
question.
Have 2 questions.
Okay. Why? Oh, my daughter's calling. Hold on just a second. Why don't cannibals, cannibals? Why don't cannibals eat clowns? 'Cause- 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 'c Because they taste funny. Tastes kind of funny. That's why
It
people
is.
go to cons, because they taste funny.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's a good one to wrap up the meeting.
laughing, of course. It's-
Laughing.
Yeah.
She means the theme of the club. She says that we should stick to the name of the club as well. Laughter and wisdom. She makes sure we are blending both of them in a perfect ratio.
Laughter and wisdom. I like that.
Even I like it.
Feel free to share that joke. I have plenty more. Feel free to share that joke.
Have one for every meetup. We'll
Okay.
have one joke every meetup.
I'll try my best. No pressure, man. Come on, no pressure.
Perfect.
I'll try
No
my best.
pressure.
No
But you
pressure.
gotta be present in every meeting with a joke. No pressure.
I'll try my best. Okay. Gonna chat it up with my daughter now. Ciao.
All right. Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Yeah.
Connie, take care of her health.
Bye, Connie. Feel
Goodbye.
better. Take some chicken soup.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Hot tea.